DM me. Let me know what piss tastes like. I feel good about this. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 15 of I Feel Good About This pod. So happy to have you here. If this is your first time joining us, if this is your 15th time joining us, if this is your 7th time joining us, thank you. I'm glad you're here. And, I have a little message for all of us, and it's time. Thank you. I know there was no differentiation between the way Mariah Carey does it and the way that I do it. So I will hold for applause. Thank you. Thank you so much. But I mean to say that it is the holiday season. We have just finished Thanksgiving. We are on our way to Hanukkah and Christmas. We are in celebration. The world is hopefully slowing down. And I have nothing to do because I'm unemployed except enjoy the season. So I hope you can enjoy it with me. Hopefully, you're finding beautiful things within the world, even though the world is deep, dark, and scary. We're not going to focus on that too much here. We're going to have fun. So let's get into episode 15. Okay, here we are. Section number 1. I feel good about this week. And the first thing I feel good about this week is, of course, Pissgate. Now, if you don't know what Pissgate is, congratulations, you have something bigger to live for. But if you're me and the rest of us who are chronically online, you are living for Pissgate. Now, let me stop and explain for those of you who don't know. This comes from a television show called The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And you think, wow, that's insane. Why would a show about Mormon wives have anything to do with something called Pissgate? And that's why the show is so good, you guys. So let me explain. For those of you who are new to the show, this is its 3rd season. And in the 1st season, there was this sort of ongoing inside joke that all of the women seemed to know what it meant, but all of us viewers had no idea. And we knew it had to do with some sort of sex act between Demi and her husband, Brett, or as the internet so lovingly calls him, Grandpa Brett, because he's 47. I think Demi is like 30. Usually do not care about age gaps at all, but I don't know. They're just really jumping on it because like Demi is like in the hot seat this week, and since season 3 aired, since season 2 really. And she's not doing herself any favors. Anyways, Demi is a huge feud, particularly with Jesse, and they've been going back and forth online, very messy. This person went live and said this person posted this to their Instagram story, this person commented on this and alluded to this. And let me tell you, it's beautiful. For someone who loves drama that has nothing to do with them, it is a really special time for me and my people who love personally low stakes drama. I'm sure this feels very high stakes to them. But this is sort of what they're known for. So it seems like this is the place where they're comfortable. And I've got my popcorn and I am just and my glasses on and I'm reading. Okay? And I'm listening. And it turns out Jessie was so mad and so frustrated with Demi that she decided to air some of her quote unquote dirty secrets. And she did a quick little, I believe it was an Instagram story or a video at least, saying, by the way, Fruity Pebbles, which was what the inside joke was, and there was someone who gave Demi a box of Fruity Pebbles at a party and she got really mad about it. And so it's been this thing that we haven't really known what it is. And she was like, by the way, Fruity Pebbles is code for Grandpa Brett drinking Demi's piss in a sexual way. And let me tell you, the girls lost it. And I lost it too. I was completely gagged, excited, ready to hear all that was going to be the fallout from this. We've started calling it Pissgate. And it's just one of those moments where you really come together as a community and you're sort of having a collective conversation. And to me, that's so beautiful. And to me and Jesse and Brett brought that all to us. And I've really been enjoying it. And I've been enjoying the memes that come out of it. And the funny thing is, so Demi, like in response to this, like posted this like written thing on her Instagram story. She was like, a consensual act between private adults at home and blah blah blah, like shouldn't be fodder, but or whatever. And then she went on to make like I don't know, no less than like 7 Instagram videos making fun of Fruity Pebbles and the fact that it meant that her husband drinks her piss. Now, don't get me wrong, I am totally 100% here for you doing whatever you want in the bedroom. If you want to be a little piss drinker and drink up your little piss because you're a little piss boy or piss girl, I love that for you. Enjoy, drink up. Um, this is not kink shaming. You do whatever you want in the bedroom. I mean, some of it is not for me, but that's okay. I can celebrate it for you. And I think the thing that I love about this so much is that everyone is freaking out about it. And it everyone has their opinion on it and whatever, and I think just the collective conversation and the sort of like just the reveal of an inside joke has gotten all of us really wagging our tongues and talking about it and how funny it is. And it doesn't seem like to me as butthurt as she was initially when she posted that. She's sort of leaning into the fun for it. But you know what my favorite thing about Pissgate was? Is that at Thanksgiving, we all sat around the Thanksgiving table and talked about Pissgate. And to me, that is a gorgeous Thanksgiving. That is the kind of Thanksgiving that I think when, the pilgrims, genocided the Native Americans and all that kind of stuff. I think, when we were hoping for what it would turn into as we sort of realized that this is a holiday built on some pretty fucked up stuff, that we can all take a moment and feel really glad about the fact that like we are now living in a world where we can have a gorgeous Thanksgiving. And clearly this was an adults only Thanksgiving. There were no children at the table. Um, but where you can sit around and you can eat amazing food that all of your friends spent time carefully preparing and seasoning and putting the herbs and in the oven and basting and back and forth. And we can sit around and we can talk about Pissgate. And to me, that's beautiful. That is the spirit of the holiday. And special mention to my friends who, after dinner, but before dessert, we also did a dramatic reading of RFK's erotic poems that leaked to that woman, Olivia, who he was or is having an affair with. You know, I just want to say, RFK, you've done absolutely nothing for this country. In fact, you put us in a much worse place than we ever have been. But your disgusting text to the affair partner really provided a beautiful space where we could all sit around and laugh at you because you're a bad person. And to me, that's the spirit of this holiday. And Pissgate and RFK being a horrible person. So I hope you all had a fantastic Thanksgiving and sort of had a similar feeling of community. Oh, one more thing, actually, that I forgot to mention about Pissgate. I am really, although not interested in drinking piss myself for sexual pleasure. Again, no judgment. I love it if you love it. But I kind of want to know because so I think the name Fruity Pebbles comes from if you eat certain things or drink certain things, it'll make your piss kind of taste like Fruity Pebbles. And I'm just wondering, as someone who's never tasted or drank piss, could you guys DM me and tell me what it tastes like? I am nothing if not a curious person. And I do want to know, first and foremost, what the flavor is. But I'm really not willing to do the personal research. But I'm just curious, is it the taste that does it for you, or is it just the whole thing and the act? And you're doing it despite the taste, or do you like the taste? So if you could DM me and tell me what piss tastes like and tell me what you like about drinking piss, I'd be really curious because I'm just, again, nothing if not an anthropologist. You know what I mean? So let me know. Okay, so the second thing I feel good about this week is going to sound kind of like an I don't feel good about this, but stick with me here. So I feel good about this week. I did not get a job offer that I was waiting for. So if this is your first time joining us on the podcast, sorry about all the piss talk. Actually, I'm not sorry. That's my very much my brand. I'm going to be talking about piss and poop and other things at other times. So buckle in. But I started this podcast because I was unemployed. And so I'm looking for a job, right? And I've been interviewing, and there was this one job in particular that I felt really good about. And I spent about 6 weeks in conversation with them, interviewing with multiple people. I did a project, and then I did a secondary kind of project for them. And I made it to the final round. They told me it was between me and another person. And then I found out right before Thanksgiving that I did not get the job. And, that was tough. I wanted the job. And really, I wanted the paycheck. I need money. This is getting TikTok. I saw some um, statistic, and I believe it was from the Washington Post, that 1.1 million people got laid off this year. And I am part of that 1.1 million people. And that's a lot of fucking people. So, of course, I wanted the job. But I also wanted a job that I thought I was going to like. And I thought I was going to like this job. But ultimately, I think the right decision was made. Obviously, I do believe that everything happens for a reason. And the thing that I feel really, really good about this week is I told so many people about this job because I was very excited. I usually don't talk about what I'm interviewing for unless I feel like I'm close to an offer. And so I told a lot of people about this job. And there's something really embarrassing about putting your tail between your legs and saying, hey, I didn't get the job. And the reminder for myself was it's not embarrassing that I didn't get the job. There are a finite number of jobs out there, and the competition is fierce. And even though you're a great candidate, there can be a million reasons that you don't get selected for a job, and many of those reasons are out of your control. And that's okay. It's not embarrassing, but when it's happening to you, it's hard to remember that. And I was feeling like there was something wrong with me. And the amount of people in my life who came out and, were incredibly supportive to me in a time where I just felt like shit was such a good reminder that I am not in this alone. And I think that made me feel really good this week because it was a tough, tough week. And my friends and family are all rooting for me in a way that I don't think I really understood. In a way that I think, you know, they have they are checking in on me, they are showing up for me, they are sending me jobs that they think might be good. And the second part of this was that this inspired me to reach out and say, hey, I really want to do some freelance work, and here's what I do, and let me see if anybody bites. And that brought a large amount of people to me asking me to help them. And I didn't realize that was there. And I think part of the thing that I feel so good about this week is a reminder that, like, when you are in a situation that is out of your control, you have to pivot and do the things that are within your control. And one of those things is asking for help, which I did not really do. I am the kind of person who wants people to know that I'm okay. And ultimately, yes, I'm okay, but I need work. And I joke about the fact that I need work and I need money, but I do. And so this is not only a reminder to you to put yourself out there, even if it feels embarrassing, and let people know that you need help, um, but also to remember that I am open and free for freelance work. So if you're seeing this and you need somebody who is good at social media, who can do social media strategy, who can do content strategy, who is good at any creative side of marketing I can do. Obviously, video editing. You're watching my work here. Short form and long form, channel strategies, total social media strategies, whatever you need, I am free and clear for that kind of work. And I'm happy to help on a contract basis, or obviously full time with benefits is my preference. But I'm just saying, I feel really good about putting myself out there because I'm getting a response. So, and even if you don't immediately get a response, it can always lead to something that you weren't expecting. So, not a lot of comedy in this because it was tough, but also a great, great reminder to um a great reminder for you guys to know that I'm available, and for me to know that there's options for me, and that to remember that my support system is really wonderful and kind of infinite, and will always be there to pick me up when I'm down. So again, DM me if you want some freelance work. Okay, here we are. Segment number 2. I don't feel good about this week. And the first thing I want to talk about that I don't feel good about this week is when you see something and your eyes and your brain tell you it's one thing, and then you receive or see a little more information, and it turns out that thing is not what you originally thought it was, and it's actually kind of gross. So, let me give you a really perfect example of this. So, I was watching a video on my phone because, like, of course, and I see this like bowl of these beautiful, sort of white, rounded little white rounded little stones. They look perfect. Like they're all individually like carved out of marble. They look a little bit like they're not soft. They look like they have a hard shell. And I am looking at these and I'm like, oh my God, yum, Jordan almonds. I haven't had those in so long. And for those of you who don't know what Jordan almonds are, they are these almonds that are dipped in a hard candy shell, and they used to give them out at like weddings in the 90s. They would put them in a little sort of like mesh bag with like a, like a, what's tutu made of? Tulle. Like a tulle. Is that tulle? Is that called tulle? It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, it's like that little mesh fabric, and they tie a bow around it, and it was like your favors when you leave the wedding. And I remember I loved those things. I would go to weddings with my family as a kid. Weddings in the 90s are very different from weddings today because that was it. Like that was the goodie bag with like these delicious little Jordan almonds. And I would like suck off the candy shell and then spit out the almond because a kid who wants to eat a fucking almond. But the candy shell was where it was at. And now I feel like goodie bags are like, depending on the wedding you go to, or like your takeaway, it's like they're getting so fancy and personalized and like, just expensive. But I think Jordan almonds were sort of within everybody's budget. So there were a lot of those in the 90s. And I was like, oh my God, I used to love those. I'd love to pop a Jordan almond into my mouth now, just looking at this video. And as the video evolved, I'm seeing like this like stringy sort of gooiness around what I previously thought were the Jordan almonds. And I'm realizing that this might not be what I thought it was originally. So we start to evolve. Things are getting wet and gooey. We're like pulling the strings off. And then I go to read the caption, and what I'm watching is silk being harvested from silkworm cocoons. So this is a bug with silk coming out of its ass, and I'm imagining popping one in my mouth, rolling it around, sucking off the candy coating, and spitting out the almond. And for me, that was a jarring experience. Like, you know, when you sort of like you get close up on like a labradoodle and you're like, oh my god, fried chicken, that looks amazing, and then it zooms out and it's a dog, and you think, oh, I feel kind of bad about thinking about eating that dog. But that's less worse than silkworm cocoons. That is a bug. And I don't want to pop in a bug, suck it around, and spit it out in my mouth. I will say the video evolved into this really beautiful thing where this like woman was making this like silk art. Like we were starting at the very beginning. She like dyed the silk and then made this beautiful art with it. But I couldn't get over the fact that I felt like I I felt like sucking on those things. That didn't feel good. So I wish I always knew what I was looking at before I let my mind wander on the internet. And yeah, I just want to share that with you guys, and you know, let me know if you've had something similar happen to you or if you're normal. Okay, so the next thing I don't feel good about this week is it's kind of a long story, so let me get there. So, my wife Tara and I, for those of you who don't know, my wife Tara is a very talented artist. You can view her art at flipcitydesign.com. She is also an exhibit designer at the Peggy Note of Art Museum in Chicago. She does all the graphics, all the murals in the museum. It's all her if you want to go see it. It's incredible work. But she also is an artist in her own right, and she does a lot of painting and you know, a lot of painting and digital drawing. And we were going this Saturday to an art festival for her to sell her art. The It was like a handmade upcycled art festival. So there's a lot of like pottery that she had painted and some of her own canvases that she had reused and painted on, and painted on mirrors that she found at thrift stores, like very, very cool stuff. And so we went, and this was actually being held at her museum, the Peggy Note Art Museum. So we went and set up a table and sold there for a couple of hours. But it happened to be snowing super heavily. And it was like, also, it was a Saturday after Thanksgiving, so like holiday, so like Christmassy, so beautiful. And if you are not from Chicago or you don't know anything of the Peggy Note Art Museum, it is like on this place called North Pond, which is absolutely beautiful. It's where the nature is healing. It's where you can see all of this wildlife, turtles, Canadian geese who will fight you if you get in their way. I am not kidding. Stay away from the geese. They're terrifying. Every time I go to her work and I see the geese just waiting there, sitting, I break out in full panic and terror. I can't walk past them. They will run after you, they will follow you, and they're fast. And when I can't stress to you enough, I am not fast and I don't run for anything. So it's a real, real danger for me. But that's me digressing. There's not the point of this story. We are at it's inside the museum, but there's just full glass windows in the room where we are. So we can see all of the snow, all of the nature. It's beautiful. And I'm like, you know, we're selling to people and people are walking through the market. There's several different vendors. I bought a beautiful knit hat by one of the vendors. It was great. And I'm looking out the window and there's trees and you can see the snow covered trees and the snow falling. And all of a sudden, I see a red cardinal land on one of the trees, sitting in the snow, like I'm watching a fucking like Nat Geo documentary. I was like, this is beautiful. Maybe the world isn't healing, but I'm healing right now. I have to go capture this moment. So I was like, oh my God, Tara, there's a cardinal. Look at the cardinal. And she's like, okay, yeah, go capture. she's just not as into it because she sees it all the time. But this is not something I see at the job that I work because one, I don't have a job, and B, I don't work at the Nature Museum. So I walk out over to the big windows and like I take this video, and as if the bird is like performing for me, he flies closer to branch that's closer to me. He's fluttering in the wind. It's beautiful. I take this video. We're bonding. I'm like, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And so I walk back over to our table and I'm like, oh my God, Tara, you need to see this. Take a look at it. And I show her the video of the cardinal. And I'm holding it for her and she's looking. And let me just do this for you. For those of you who are listening to the podcast, I'm going to narrate what I'm doing, but I'm also going to um, show it visually on YouTube. So make sure you watch it on YouTube. She's looking at the phone. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. She nods. I can tell she's sort of pulling away from me. She's still got her eyes on the phone, but I can tell she's done. And then she completely turns away. And she's like, okay, I get it. I was like, excuse me? You don't have time to watch a 45-second video that I took? She got it? I'm sorry, I can't put a length on whimsy. This is beautiful, and I need you to watch the whole thing, and I need you to give me the reaction that I need, which is, oh my God, how beautiful. But she can't give it. She can't fake it. There's part of me that appreciates that. She's going to give as much as she can in the moment and no more and no less. But I just want to say to her and to those who have heard um the like bird story, there's like this I remember we read this article a really long time ago where it's like this psychologist or somebody did this test where it was like they they had one partner be like, "Hey, look at the bird out the window," and the partner who was like, "Oh, let me see," and was like fully engaged. That meant that the couple was going to stay together longer because the partner was like engaged and like cared about the other things, or at least showed them that they cared. And it was like done a long time ago. And I'll tell you what, that popped into my head. So I just want to say to her and in front of everybody right now, looks like we've reached our limit. I don't think we're making it. It's been a nice 13 years. But if you want to stick around, then you watch my beautiful whimsical bird videos. Okay? An open message to my wife. So I did not feel good about that this week. And I hope you. I don't think. I honestly like. She's literally in the other room right now, and I don't know if she can hear me or not recording this. But she definitely doesn't watch the podcast, so she's never gonna hear this. So if you guys do watch this and then you see her, I hope you bring it up to her if any of you are close personal friends or know us, or you can even DM her on her website, which I'll share. It's flipcitydesign.com. If you want any custom artwork or any beautiful artwork or anything that she's selling, she's at Flip City Design, I believe, on Instagram. I'll share the handle as well. And she does a lot of beautiful artwork. But also, you can DM her and tell her to watch my bird video. Okay, I would really appreciate it. Okay, here we are. We're at our final segment. It's I don't know how I feel about this week. And the thing I don't know how I feel about this week is interesting. So I've my wife and I, Tara, have been watching the show Couples Therapy. It's on Showtime, and we watch it through like a different app. I don't know, but for those of you who don't know, it's an incredibly fascinating show. We've only watched season 4. We haven't watched all of it, but um it's follows this I think she's a psychotherapist. Her name is Orna. And she brings cameras into her sessions with couples and does therapy with them. And it is unbelievable the access we get and the generosity of these people to share their stories with the world. I mean, the bravery is like insane. I don't know that. No, I'm sorry. I do know I would not be that brave to be like, sure, air our therapy session. That's an incredible thing, and I think like it is unbelievable the access you get to understanding how couples therapy works and understanding, what all different types of couples are going through. And so it's not that I don't know how I feel about the show. I love the show. I truly love the show, but I'm not sure I like who I become when I watch the show, because there's obviously like uh when you watch regular reality television, like, oh, I don't know, The Secret Wives of Mormon Wives, you can be very moralistic and decide someone is being horrible, or I can't believe you would act this way, and blah, 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 because you get to be that person sitting on your couch. But when people are so vulnerable on this show and sharing so much of themselves, to get opinionated about their story feels wrong. Like, and I do have opinions, of course, you guys. If you've made it through this far in the podcast, you know this podcast is basically all opinions. And so I have a lot of them, and I think a lot of them. And then I also am like, well, you shouldn't do that, blah, blah, blah. And then Orna completely contradicts my opinion. And I'm like, okay, you know what? You know what? That was my second thought. Okay, Orna, I was right behind you. I was right behind you, girl. So it's just like, I don't like who I become when I'm watching that show, because I I think it's a show I should watch with more curiosity and less judgment. But I'm so used to being a reality TV watcher who sits in judgment with my gavel and my robe that I don't know how to take this show in without that sort of energy. And so I'm really working on that, because uh number one, it's a completely different kind of show, and number two, these people are so fucking generous in sharing their struggles with us. They deserve kindness. And don't get me wrong, I'm not rude about any of the people, although there are there are some people that I'm like, oh, that guy's an asshole, and it's usually that guy, and it's usually a guy, and it's usually, oh, I think these poor women. But you know what? Again, I need to stop sitting in judgment and take a back seat to Orna, because Orna's not judging, Orna's helping. So I feel bad. I'm not sure how I feel, because I want to watch with uh, more passively. But you guys have seen my personality. It's very hard for me to do that. So I'm working on it. I'm working on it. But yeah, I want to know what you guys think about the show. If you guys watch it, I absolutely fucking love it. I think I've learned a lot from it. I'm so grateful to the people who are so generously sharing their lives with us. And I will say, I did Google how much Orna charges per session, because I'm thinking like, oh my god, I would love to talk to her. Of course, it's like, and she's just so brilliant, and she's just so empathetic and kind, and has so many, is really just like an impartial referee to these people who don't seem to be able to find a certain common ground on things. And I think, man, this woman's incredible. I'd love to get a sesh with Orna. I believe they start at $700. So there's part of me that's like, oh, maybe I would film it to get a free session. I don't know. But yeah, therapy is expensive. So I'm getting mine for free through couples therapy. So I'm seeing what she's talking about with other people, and, seeing if any of her stuff applies to me in my life, which I think is exactly how therapy is supposed to work. So, yeah, I guess it's all resolved. I feel great about that. And we did it. Episode 15 down in the books. We are done. I hope you guys had a good time. I had a really good time. As always, yapping. I did miss my buddy James. He was out this week. He's traveling, running around to Australia. So we hope he has a great trip. I guess he felt he could dip out on an unpaid gig he does with his friend. Okay. But yeah, no, I hope he's having an incredible time. I am so happy to be here this week. I can't wait to see you guys next week. If you want to reach out and keep up with us, I did ask for a couple DMs and some opinions from you guys. So make sure to drop it in the comments. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to get a friend to subscribe. We are trying to get to 500 subscribers. Would love, love, love to get there. That is my grown up Christmas list, as they say. Shout out to the Amy Grant version. That's the one that raised me. And if you want to follow us on social media, you can find us at I Feel Good About This, Instagram, TikTok, and that's really it. DM me, let me know what piss tastes like, and I can't wait to see you next week for episode 16. Have a great week. Bye. I feel good about this.